Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 317, and today we're doing battle in a Singleton gauntlet. And so we're continuing our preparation for the upcoming Runeterra Open. It's going to be in the Singleton format as well, and I've started to get a little bit of a better grasp on the format. I still carry this belief that Aatrox is the way to go. One of your three factions should probably be devoted to Aatrox since the equipment are so good. They're great in the early game, and then they give you a fantastic late game plan. But it's just a matter of figuring out from beyond there what else you're looking to do. In our previous Singleton video, we looked after Kayn, and so we are playing Aatrox, Kayn, and Vayne as our kind of core champions. And I've moved away from Kayn. I wasn't really impressed with the cultists, and I've been dabbling with Targon as another option. The dragons are kind of interesting. And then where we're at today was with Shurima, another fantastic option if you think of, say, Action Sivir along with all of the equipment. It's a very powerful set of synergies there. And so to bring up the deck list we'll be playing today, this is Demacia Shurima along with Aatrox. I feel like we have a pretty standard set of champions in here. I do really like the quick attack aspects of some of these champions between Lucian and Action and Sivir. They allow us to more safely get in a lot of these equipment-based attacks with our champions. And so one of the premier ways to actually finish off these games is going to be casting the World Ender, the Aatrox spell, but you don't have as many easy strikes as you used to. So if you're playing, say, like Aatrox Vayne with P and Z, you have a bunch of copies of the tough equipment, a bunch of copies of the quick attack equipment. Those are very easy to attack with. But if we're loading up our units with things like the Darkened Staff or the Darkened Ballista, they don't quite give us that longevity that we're looking for to get multiple strikes. And so I've really liked what the quick attack units bring to the table. Otherwise, with our equipment selection, we're playing 9 of the 10 Darkened equipment. We aren't playing the Shadow Isles one, but we're playing all the rest, along with a single copy of Swinging Glaive. Down as far as the spells go, we have 5 separate strikes amongst the spells that we have in here, the single combat, the fish fights, and the like. And then we have just a handful of combat tricks, a single copy of Silence and Suppress, as I suspect the Aatrox strategies to really pick up in steam. It's a card that I'm happy to bring along with the single copy of Rite of Negation, one of the reasons that I am exceptionally happy to be out here playing with Shurima. In terms of the units, we have this very cheap unit package. I want to be able to play a unit on turn 1 or turn 2, and then equip it on turn 2 or turn 3, and so we have to have all of the cheap bros to really help pull that off. But as far as these units go, I've really focused in on the ones that either predict, and so the things like Forsaken Bakai and Aspiring Chronomancer, or the ones that generate additional cards, so things like Treasure Seeker, Egghead Researcher give us a little bit more value out of those early game plays. And so that's the deck. Let's go ahead, enter the gauntlet, jump on in, see if we can't get ourselves some victories. And so I don't want to jinx myself, but I feel like I've done 5 of these now, and I've gotten the 6 wins with all 5 of them. And so it's a pretty potent strategy coming out here with the Aatrox, and here we go. People are picking up on it. He says, I'm just going to come out here and take Bust's Aatrox Vayne and jump right into action with it. And so this is why we're bringing the Silence and Suppress. I really suspect that Aatrox is going to be one of the cornerstones of the format, and having access to Silence and Suppress to readily deal with some of these equipments is pretty nice. All right. The battles are beginning. A nice start with action in the bloodletters. It's just like we're playing Constructed, right? You say, I'm just going to get these equipments going early. We got the whole Action Sivir deck just coming down here and turning up. Not that bad. Not bad. So here, he shouldn't be able to give his Broadwing Challenger, so we'll just take the 3 damage. Look to carry on with our action next turn. Shouldn't need to play any of these removal spells, but it would be a nice space to where if we go into turn 4 with a 2 bank so that we can play Sivir and then maybe play another spell. We'll see how it turns out. If we want to play both the Bloodletters and the Broadwing next turn, then we can't have that 2-bank. And if we want to attack next turn, we have to play the Darkened Bloodletters. And so the Bloodletters are probably where we're going to end up. But we'll see if opponent plays anything to change our mind. Vayne, don't feel like Vayne changes our mind. Now, we can just give up on all of our mana at this point. We can look to, say, fish fight the action into Vayne, only have the single mana banked behind, and then we can look to replay the equipment, hopefully before he attacks. So we'll see what his angle is next turn. I definitely don't want to just be running... I don't want to be running Sivir onto the board without any protection, and so we'll see how this turn turns out. I have a feeling this action's just going to get popped right from the start. But good silence and suppress, especially if he's got an equipment. If he wants to, say, put a quick attack equipment onto the Broadwing to have a little bit of a safer hit into action, that would have been pretty cool. It would have been pretty cool. Alright, well, we'll just take away the Formidable. That'll keep the Broadwing from actually dealing any damage here. Get it down to 1 health so it's not scary on these future turns. Now we can look to get the rest of the squad going. And so let's drop in the Broadwing. See if he's got an answer to this action on board. Maybe we should have equipped action first. So if he's going to try and play a single combat or something onto action, we have a unit that comes out from behind. A little annoying with the Laurent Protege. Our board's kind of falling apart here. Let's level up our action and see what happens.
Talk is worthless. We are what we do.
See if drawing a couple cards doesn't get us anywhere, right? Anything cool? I'm not opposed to the Darkened Lodestone. That does make all of our attacks this turn pretty good. It's our second equipment for the game as well. So we can add that in. It gives us the mana behind to play the Absolver if we need to as well. You can play an equipment? Waiting on it. I can't get this silence and suppress out of our hand fast enough. But, I mean, we have a lot of nice combos here. We've leveled up our action at this point, so the Absolver is ready to go. If we can ever get our Sivir leveled up, she's going to be ready to party. I think that all sounds nice. What's this one? The Darkened Fan. Sure. We'll just take all the damage. There's no reason to get involved with this. Oh, you don't have Challenger yet? Dude. It's okay, but I was expecting our bird to have Challenger.
Close my eyes. Make it fair.
Dude coming in with the block. Sure thing. Gotta have a combat trick here, right? Goes for the catch. How much do we even care? Do we want to get too involved with this? I think we want to start clearing out this board. So let's use the Absolver. I know that it's not incredibly ideal when we already have the Sivir combos. I just worry about falling a little bit too far behind on this board. Board kind of sucks right now, right? And so if we can play it a little slow, I feel good with that.
We Demacians are no easy prey.
He's gonna equip this, so I think we can safely play Vayne, and then we'll play the Silence and Suppress onto the Valor after he. Oh, what do I know? What do I know, fam? Interesting. Change your mind? You wanna drop the Darkened Fan? There we go. There we go. Wow. Okay. Goes after Vayne. We do have the catch in hand. I was leaning towards using the catch to protect action after combat, but would we prefer to protect Vayne? Probably not. Action's going to be pretty good on the follow-up here. So our action's going to fall to 1 health. He's going to try and hook it with the Petricite Broadwing, and then we can protect with catch. I think that's going to be the strong way to go here. And the Vayne comes in. Wow. Oh, she flips, though. Okay. Less wow. Do we want to block to get our equipment back, though? We'll be at 7 mana next turn. That's a little short. Fall to 4. We're getting low. We're getting low. I'll give you that. But let's see what Action and Friends can do here. Darken Ballista. Alright. I think... I hope I didn't go too far here by getting the Sivir on board, but I think we want to tumble so that we can flip our Warlord's Horde. And we'll see where that gets us. I think we're still in a pretty safe spot here, but... Oh, shit. Hope we aren't going to regret this. Do get a couple of other options this way. If... Oh, we don't have the mana. I was going to say, if we get the Darkened thing on board, then we have some opportunities to attack twice with the Bloodletters, but that's not happening. So which version do we want to take off of this? I don't think we ever want to play the shield. The other one doesn't seem that strong. We haven't really played enough to get excited about the... Hadn't really played enough to get excited about the vulnerable, re-find your biggest unit, whatever that thing is called. But we can start getting a bunch of stuff on board. Certainly gonna look to be playing a grappling hook this turn. What up, Aatrox? Just in time. Alright, so now we'll get a quick attack challenge onto the bird. I just assumed that we were going to be grappling hooking this turn, but we don't need to. Then we can just come back in with the tumble onto Sivir. A little sloppy, but we figured it out. Alright. Mark it a W. On to the next one. Oof. Nice grind fest. It's like being back in the days of Expedition, man. So many of these Singleton games feel like you're playing Expedition as to where the amount of value that you play just matters so much. It's one of the reasons I was kind of interested in moving into playing Targon is just let's play Aurelion Soul. You know, let's play Eclipse Dragon. Let's play an Invoke or two and just ensure that we have that really big late game stuff. I'm not certain if you actually need it, given that the Darken just does so much work in terms of giving you late game. But it was something I certainly considered. The event. Oh, come on, matchmaking. It's because it's daylight savings time. Is anybody else pissed about daylight savings time? Not only did I lose an hour of sleep last night, I signed on at noon today to queue into this, and then it was an hour late because of the stupid daylight savings time. I was a little upset. I was a little upset about it. All right, let's jump in though. We're up against some Zoe deck. This is just going to be a control deck of some sort with Seraphine. No problems there. As far as these games go, I like to hang onto the equipment, especially if we get the good ones, and then just look for some cheaper plays to go with it. So we picked up the Elkin and the Vayne. Not a bad start. Can come out early with some good aggression. Hopefully these tough units line up pretty well against their opponent's removal. Typically this is going to be a lot of P and Z removal coming at us like Mystic Shots, and so if we're able to stop the damage with tough, it's not a bad deal. Alright, so I was playing this a little slow. I didn't want our Elkin to just get popped before it got tough attached to it. And so now that we've played this a little slow, we hopefully have the opportunities to get the better spells on board here. So we'll Darken Harp the bird. Take a nice quick attack challenge into this combat. See what we can do. He's got the Mystic Shot. We're going to lose our bird, but it's okay. Seems a little better to me than just going for the Aegius. Now I'm going to look to Aegius up Vayne. Interesting, though, having Sivir come on board. She's a unit that we need to be pretty careful with, because she's ultimately so powerful here. We do play the copy of Heedless Resurrection, so she's a fairly easy champion to get back, but definitely don't want to be losing out with her. Let's just keep taking in the Darken Harp. If we're going to want to attack into Victor, that's the one we're going to need. We can hopefully just take him down with Concerted Strike before he gets too scary. And Aatrox turning up. It's okay. We would have just preferred to draw Aatrox off of our equipment.
Yes, of course. Analyzing approach.
No spell shield. Let's see, got quick attack and faded. Alright.
Purge with silver. Heat the metal.
Sure. I do like seeing the Hexobliterator come down on Vayne instead of coming down on Aatrox, and so sucks to lose the unit, sure, but not losing out on the big boys kind of strong.
Genius in action.
And I'm going to go ahead and take the strike now. I kind of wanted to let it land so that we could then equip the Elkin and have the Elkin get another Darkened strike in for our World Ender, but if he had Spell Shield on this, it's such a pain in the butt, and so I wanted to go ahead and try and get the Victor off board. We got him off the board, just not in the most effective fashion. So we'll bring in the fan onto the Elkin. We have to decide if we want to open attack next turn, and I don't think we're going to. I think we want to still just drop Aatrox. It seems like, you know, he's got some kind of plan for our Sivir out here, but I think the Aatrox needs to come in. We probably should have equipped her first, right? That's probably a touch of a mistake, not putting the Bloodletters onto Sivir. He doesn't know that we have it, but if she now gets popped by a removal spell, we don't really get anything out of it. And she's not going to flip on this attack, right? We've got 6 from Aatrox, 7, 8, 9 from the Elkin, plus whatever she does.
Have I purchased your status?
17 in total for the turn.
You sound a bit pitchy.
Have you heard Zon Starlight?
All right, not bad.
I'll catch the next act.
All right, all tuned up. Try now.
5 away from the Sivir flip. Interesting Widowed Huntress. I was going to say, I was leaning towards just dropping Giral. I like having Giral on the board next turn so that he gets to do the stony suppressor in the middle of combat. So we'll see if that comes in. We could look to tumble this turn. I want to see how much mana the opponent spends, though. It's like, I guess the tumble with Sivir is probably fairly safe, but there's a lot of opportunity for failure with this, to where if we're just getting to attack next turn, we should be in pretty good shape. Now he's down to 4 mana. Oh, if he taps out, that would be great. Tap out for some spells that don't matter. That's what I like to see. Alright, let's see what you can do, Sivir. This will grant her the flip as well if she manages to get into combat. Nope, concussive palm. Alright. Not a big deal. So do we want to go for the Widowed Huntress? We're not going to get lethal this turn. I wonder if that counts as a target for the grappling hook. I have no idea. Equip me with an equipment. I bet it does not. So let's just go ahead and attack. We have a hook into Victor, and these other units don't really matter. And we'll look to end the world next turn. Hopefully that'll be enough to finish it all off. We ordered these wrong. God damn it. I just assumed that our Sivir was going to be flipped after this first hit. We should have quick attacked our Giral before we sent it into the thing. Whoops. We're still in pretty tip-top shape here, but losing out on the unit kind of sucks. Kinda sucks. Alright, well, what you got for us, fam? Seraphine? I'm not really on board with that. I'll be real with you, fam. I don't want anything to do with this Seraphine. So I'm going to add the Huntress. We're going to look to have the Huntress flip into the Darkened Staff card next turn. That's fine. But, oh shit, we fucked that up, didn't we? Story of the day. Story of the day. Well, hopefully we don't die to the Seraphine. We've messed up quite a bit here. Lots of crazy shenanigans can happen once she flips. We definitely should have just put the... We've messed up quite a bit this game. I think that's apparent, but it's what we're out here doing this for, man.
Light, stage, amp. All right, let's jam.
All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and let that happen. And Karma? Ew, I mean, maybe we were glad that that flip got to happen. Oh my god. Let's see what we can do. We got a small chance here to pop off Karma. I mean, at least, thankfully, she only has 7 mana here. I'm not certain what happens when you have both a flipped Seraphine and a flipped Karma on the board. Probably a lot of nonsense. Probably a lot of nonsense. Alright, what's coming in with this one? Double high note. Triple high note. My god. Alright. I guess that's what happens when when she hits the board. I don't know. We might have punted this one. Getting that... I think we could deal with a single Seraphine or a single Karma, but having them both on the board and opponent getting to go with the full 13 mana next turn, that's gonna be a problem. We'll keep at it, though. Rite of Negation. Very interesting. I wonder if we ever just want to attack. Like... That's pretty tempting. Like, we also just have Harazi in hand, and getting Harazi on board for the spell shields is another bit of power that we can bring forth. I'm hoping we see him just do a bunch of dumb shit that doesn't matter, and and we're able to do something from there. Double silence. Okay. Oh my gosh, this one is going straight to Puntsville. Don't have enough. Oh, our Aatrox is silenced, so we can't play our Darken on the cheap. Clever. No way we win this game, right? Well, maybe something cool will happen with Rite of Negation. I don't know. I feel like we probably should have just conceded, but being in this spot to where if opponent has both flipped Seraphine and flipped Karma on the board and they still lose the game, it'll be such a magical moment. I want to stick around and see if we can't pull it off anyways. Oh my gosh, this is how it starts, right? This is how it starts. That's how you do it. I don't think we have enough stats to put on the board, but that's how you get it started. Fucking Balcook sucks so much. All right, let's see what we can do in combat now. Garen turns up. I don't think we have time to get Garen on the board. Let's do it this way. Put the elusive out first. We could have tried to pick up a couple more points of damage with the putting the Harazi support onto Pra, but it just feels like Aatrox is a little bit too important here. So we'll deliver him the spell shield. Can't feel good when you start moving the units around. It can't feel good. Now I think what a shitty deck, man. What a shitty deck. No disrespect to opponent, but let's be real. Let's be real. You have a flipped Seraphine and a flipped Karma on the board for like 3 turns, and you still aren't able to win the game. Come on. Come on, those cards are shitty. Just quit the game, bro. You have a handful of 10 cards with a flipped Karma and a flipped Seraphine, and you can't even win. All right. Round 2 against old Pig Dogman. Let's see if we can't do the same thing. What a joke, man. What a joke. Flipped Seraphine and flipped Karma and still losing. Oof. I mean, if nothing else, that has to really highlight the power of these two cards, right? If we're in this space to where, we're beating these decks with with just the Darken and going up against that. I just can't imagine that there's a stronger way to go about the deck building. It's just these equipment are so good right now, right? We've very easily got this Darken Harp with Valor and a Challenger, and then as the game progresses, none of our shit has to go right. See, we're just out here trying to get some dudes on the board and stuff, and you know, as this early game progresses and we try the stuff with the equipment, once this equipment in the early game starts to fail, these things just turn into Darken, right? Just they work as the game naturally progresses to where the opponent kind of needs to draw the right cards in the right order. So I think it's pretty nice for us to not have to completely deal with all that. All right, start off with these Challenger birds. Sure, wasn't expecting too much out of the bird here. Just too much removal from the opponent, but worth a shot, worth an effort, you know. And the Acoustion has been dispatched. Need something else to do, but recall a unit. Why? Why are you doing that? I'll play it again. I don't. Why? Why? I don't know. I don't know why you would do that. I have been boozled. You wanted flow for this dum-dum? Okay. So we're gonna draw our Aatrox now, right? We don't have that much left to do, so let's put the Ballista and the Harp onto board. Those will be our 3 equipment. Oh, we already did play the Harp. I gotcha. Now our equipment are lined up in the right way. We'll drop Aatrox next turn. Not a bad Heedless Resurrection, right? We do have the big Aatrox to try and do some cool combats with it, or some cool recoveries with it. Another perk of being in Shurima. Today is the last day. Let's get him, Aatrox. Let's get him. World Ender. Did they upgrade this thing to start at like 18? I don't remember where the World Ender used to be, but man, it certainly takes a lot more effort than it used to. Okay. You fought hard, bird. You fought hard. Saw this Spirit of Wuju getting little symbols on it and stuff. Getting surprised by whatever is happening there.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton, right, Arda?
But not a bad round. You know, as we've really described these games, we are in this spot now to where you know, we have 8 mana and all of our cards are just good. So nice little spot to be in. Probably just be dropping Balakux next turn. Not the strongest one. I was thinking if we actually wanted to play the Darken Harp, because this is such a good attacking unit when you get to do the draw 2. But I don't think we need it at the exact moment. Alright, combat time.
Your attack is obvious.
Your attack is obvious, bro. Bill of Ionia. Okay. Not terrible. Down to 12 on the World Ender. We can cast it next turn, but I feel like we're probably just going to Lucian into the Darkened Staff again. Fleet Feather Tracker could be a little bit better than Lucian. Not opposed to just dropping the Darkened Ballista either. The Naganika is pretty strong, being able to just fight down whatever it wants. And so maybe we'll look towards that, especially if he tries to play Karma this turn. You can't silence and suppress a Karma, so don't really want to deal with her. We got a lot of answers to that kind of nonsense, though, between getting an attack in with the Cataclysm. So
Stands for vicious.
Vi stands for vicious. So low in terms of mana now. Is this ever worth a thing just to get this out of the way? Let's give it a shot. Opify. Okay. So we'll just limit ourselves on what units we put on the board here. Oh, Darkened Harp though, taking a play from our playbook, huh? We'll at least get the harp out of here. He can come in and trade with Aatrox if he wants. We'll just summon him right back with the Darkened or with the Heedless Resurrection, but not letting him get quick attack challenges here. See if he's interested in a Vi trade now that she's just going to get blown up by the Naganika. Okay. You fought hard. You fought hard. All right. The flipped Seraphine coming on the board. See if she's scary as she was last time. Maybe, maybe not.
I don't need a plan.
Rip Aatrox, sure. He'll be back. Don't worry, fam. I'll bring you back. Bit of a bummer we can't Naganika down the Seraphine. You can't have it all the time. So I think if we're going to Heedless Resurrection, we're not going to play any of the other Darken. So how are we going to start here? Let's start with Lucian.
Push back the darkness.
Then we'll have 9 mana afterwards. Oh god, he's got that total package again. He's got the 3 mana Karma this time. He's going to have to do a lot of work this turn though. The bird's not that good, right? It doesn't do enough damage. Let's still play it. It's just scary for him playing Karma into the face of the Naganika. Alright, draw 100 cards. Fair enough. Wow, he really drum soloed into Deep Meditation Karma. That's pretty insane.
Good people don't look the other way.
So we got the -2 cost onto Karma, the -2 cost on the Deep Meditation, then the Deep Meditation was reduced because of the flow, so we got to play it for free, and then double it up with Karma. If you can't win these games, then I don't feel like I'm being too harsh. I don't feel like I'm being too harsh. If you have games go like this and you aren't winning, your deck is balls. I feel like that's a fairly safe and accurate assessment of what's happening. Alright, so our attacks and stuff still suck this turn. Going against the 2/5 health units is pretty painful. Let's try and bring back our dude. Yeah, these attacks all kind of suck. We can get close to a Lucian flip. Damn. Alright, I don't feel so great about this one anymore. I don't feel so good. Man, and now we can't get Aatrox strikes anymore. Okay. Okay. What you got for me, Chronomancer? Not what we're looking for. We're really looking to pick up a Rite of Negation. I'll just skip over all of these. Having a concerted strike for Karma at this point isn't that big of a deal. Naganika can come in. He'll try and strike down Karma. I assume that he's just going to get sent back to hand or something, and we're going to be screwed at this point, but it's worth a shot. He's still just not doing anything relevant, and so we'll take what we can get there. Alright, Strya 2. Let's see what you got for us. Gonna let us do a little bit of card draw. Recover some. What's this one? I was clicking the board too much. Exbliterator. Okay.
Gently, gently.
Well, we're just gonna start attacking. maybe something will come of it. Is that even the way to go? Like I'm just envisioning being able to flip this Lucian at some point. Look in the Karma, chip in some damage. This should be a couple of dead units for him.
Tell me what you got.
Gotta start wearing down the board though. Well, we got a Lucian flip. That's a start. That's a start. You can do something, my dude. Comes the flurry of mystic shots, single combats. Okay. Who's gonna be our next big Darken to hit the board? You do get the 3 units out of the 3 units out of the Darkened Fan. Could be powerful. Something to try and hook in on these Karmas and the like. This should be done at this point. He's going to be tripling up on the victor things. So let's just go ahead and move on. But again, that like, I don't know, man. I feel like when we'll probably just queue into this guy again. If we play him a third time, we'll play the game and then just move on. We'll wait before we queue. But that just strikes me as so rough. Like, those games were definitely losable from being in a spot to where you have your 2 key cards on the board for literally forever. And so I don't know, man. That deck just strikes me as garbage. So here, you can get rid of everything. We need to find a little bit better early game plays against this. I have to assume this is like Pirates coming at us that just happens to have Nora in it. And so I'd like to find an early game play if we can. Just trading out Lucians is okay. Hopefully he doesn't get hit with like a Make It Rain or a Parlay or something. But if he's able to stem the bleeding early, then I'll be happy with Lucian. Alright, so we gotta drop the lodestone in if we don't want our Lucian to just get value blocked by the hired gun. Kinda sucks, but it is what it is as far as what our hand is offering up. I just have to assume that against this Nora-based deck, as long as we have time, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be slamming down these equipments before you know it, and being pretty strong from there. No intent to attack with Vayne this turn, but she's just our most efficient play in terms of mana. We can start trying to drop the Egghead next turn. You like seeing that. You like seeing that 4-3 rear guard. I'll come in and attack now. He's only got 3 cards in hand at this point, so if we're able to get another unit on board, that's pretty good. The worst case scenario here, just taking like 4 damage or so, doesn't feel terrible.
No prey, no pay.
And Misfortune. All right, well, at the end of the day, If we get to take down a rear guard and a Misfortune, that's pretty good. If he doesn't attack with Misfortune, then that's fantastic. But we don't have any good blocks because of the love tap. And then we've played 2 equipment at this point. Our mana is a little shaky, but if we're able to add the Darkened Harpoon to the board, we'll get to pick up Aatrox. And Aatrox is a bit nutsos in these kind of spaces. And so his ability to come in and just gain us like 6 or 7 health is going to be pretty huge. We get the time to get him on board. That might be a bit of a tall order here, but we'll try it. This block seems terrible for opponent, but I want to give him a chance to do dumb stuff. It doesn't strike me as a deck that's going to be playing Scorched Earths. It could have Ravenous Flock, right? Ravenous Flock would be a problem in this space, but I feel like he's in the zone to where he should not be blocking anything and just being wider than us and sending all the damage in. So I feel like in the Master's queue, that's the kind of spot to where we would just see a real quick growth of opponent taking 3 damage.
I love a taste of
All right, well, it's got to be Concerted Strike, right? This can definitely go wrong, but hopefully not dead. And then after the combat, we can drop... where are you at? We can drop the Darkened Harpoon. That's going to draw our Aatrox. And then if we get Aatrox on board next turn, things can turn around real quick. He's going to gain 2 as soon as he hits the board, strike for another 2, and then we can start to play Rite of Negations. So, oh, Portapalooza. It's like, you said hit the board, and you're just like, all right, I guess we're dead to Rite of Negation, but didn't happen just yet. Immediately spikes 2 portals. But here's our Aatrox for +2. He gets to attack for another +2. Why didn't you just play it last turn, dude? It was the leftmost card out of his hand. Why didn't you just win the game? All right. Good job. I see you're tapped out there, friend. Let me start playing Portal Paloozas instead of just killing you. I see you've got this Aatrox on the board now. I better quit fucking around. Wow. All right. Different person playing this dumb shit deck. I guess they didn't get the memo that these cards are just fucking terrible. All right, though. I think it's close to a reasonable enough keep. I'd really like to have another cheaper play to roll with this hand. Maybe we just get rid of the Darkened Harpoon and look for something else. Broadwing. Okay. Harpoon says, "No, thank you, sir. You're here to battle. You're not going away that easily." All right, but let's go ahead and get the equip then. I want to pick up that small unit should he decide to trade. If he's taking these trades, I would assume that he just doesn't have burn in hand, right? You find yourself in a pretty easy spot to play your burn spells and get a good hit on that Broadwing if you've got him. Right, you would prefer to say like, okay, well, I'm gonna Mystic Shot and then follow up with the Mountain Goat, and he just didn't do that. He didn't take that angle, so I think we're okay in that sense.
the sunbrock got me good.
Alright, dude making value plays, sure. Now I'm looking to put the Harpoon onto the Darkened Thrall. Ooh, a Darkened Spear as well. I think this is fine. We'll put the spear onto our capable blocker in the Badger Bear.
I think we have something on that case.
Here comes Aatrox. That was the Archivist card out of the time trick. No mana left over, so don't have to worry about too much. Let's send in the squad.
A missing piece?
Is he going to be mean to you next turn, Badger Bear? I don't approve of that. That's not very nice. No one should be mean to you. We got a fleeting lodestone along with the silence and suppress. Okay. I would assume our Badger Bear is probably going to go, but interesting. Interesting. Many dangers. Get another spell. Okay. You tried hard, my dude. You tried hard. So are we okay to just lose out on the Darkened Lodestone at this point? I think it's fine. We don't have a ton that we can do with it anyways. And drop in Vayne and play Aatrox next turn. And we'll be finding ourselves in these spaces to where we can just start dropping Darken after this. All right, the big decision's being made. You gotta worry when the fan club president comes in and they're just thinking about it forever. Are the cards all so shitty that they just don't want them? Or are the cards so good that he's got a real decision to make there? Not bad. Not bad. Hitting the old 5 mana spell and then making it cost 0. How do we feel about Vayne here? I think we can safely just take the damage. It's not that big of a deal. Get the Bakai in. The Blinding Assault's kind of interesting. We don't have a lot of really good equipment with it, but it does get to kind of face down an Esmuth. I think it'll be a reasonable play on this upcoming turn. And we can just drop Aatrox again here. What cards do we have? Stop and be sure. I don't want our Aatrox just getting overdrawn at some point. I think he should be safe here. But would we rather just drop multiple equipment? It's another viable option for the turn, and we do have tumbles as well. So we could look to say put the Darkened Spear onto Vayne and tumble. I don't think I'm too excited about it. I do Aphelios things. You got it, my dude. So not bad. I think we'll want to look to take this a little slow. The way I'm kind of envisioning this is we're going to get our bird on board. He did just pick up Calibrum, which is slightly awkward. Maybe we just open attack here. And then we can tumble the bird after if we want. I'd really like to get usage of it next turn. And so I feel like we kind of need 3 bank. And then we can look to tumble the bird next turn and protect with Rite of Negation. I think that's where we want to be. Zigged when I should have zagged. Okay. I mean, we could just tumble this turn, right? We haven't made our scout attack yet. And so you can put down the bird, tumble the bird, and then that will count as our scout. I do like getting to pick up the fresh tumble again next turn as well. See where that gets us. So it's like as our mana stands, we can put on the bloodletters and then tumble. Well, I guess we can just tumble and pick up an equipment that way. Sure, why not? Why not give you a... Well, we probably want the harpoon on it, right? So it gets the bonus attack. Sounds good to me. All right, get out there, bird.
Are you going to the show?
All right, now if we attack with Vayne, she's going to be a 4/4. She's going to flip when she sees us attack here. Don't mind the stun onto Aatrox. That's not a problem. The question is, are we willing to go? I don't think we want to fall underneath Rite of Negation mana here. So we'll equip up the Vayne. We're still going to attack. I want the 0 mana tumble for next round. And the Rite of Negation is around and ready should we need it. There's a 0 cost cycle. It's wild. Wild the things these people get.
I will release them from their pain.
Okay. All right. Not a bad space to be in. Goes to the bar. I mean, his mana's so low now, I feel pretty safe just dropping a World Ender. Like, I don't think this is scary. We can try to World Ender and then play a Naka, and then tumble a Naka. See what kind of units we get out of it, and then just open attack next turn. Yeah, it seems pretty strong. Anaka being the unit that comes off the darkened blood or the darkened spear. It's like I come out and start to pull up silence and suppress. I'm like, can we just silence and suppress a back alley bar? I don't think that there's a world where that wouldn't be a fantastic play. Let's get that dumb stuff out of here. Say, get that out of here. Crescendum's down to 1 mana for the random dude. Okay. I mean, do we ever change our mind and then still just tumble Aatrox? Aatrox getting in this big chunk of damage? I don't know. It just seems so good getting our Naka in. And if he spikes another one of our equipment, it should be lights out. It's kind of tough to spike in equipment. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, or 1, 2, 3, 4 left. But I think I'm still on board. You can have your Aphelios. All right, now how are we going to get utterly disintegrated by whatever he has for 1 mana that's been reduced in cost a bunch of times? You're supposed to be able to come out here and play around anything that could have been hit off of drum solo or off of his back alley bar and all of that nonsense. You say, which one is it? We're just going to tumble. I think there's a real chance that we just play a Barros for a kill next turn. I mean, he was close to just killing this turn, probably. What you got? Only the Widowed Huntress? Could have been better. Could have been better. We've been playing a lot of Anaka in Constructed. And you're supposed to hit Anaka into Anaka into Anaka into Cythria. That's the way that these games are supposed to go. A little bit of a bummer that it didn't hit properly, but I think we're still in pretty good shape here. Probably still in pretty good shape. He just takes the blocks, doesn't kill any of our units. Okay. Definitely just going to be open attacking now. So I don't suspect... Oh, man, we hit another turd. I don't suspect we're going to get a kill on this attack, but we do have the Rite of Negation and the Tumble to start messing with stuff afterwards. Looks like he's trying to be mean to our Aatrox real quick. Another interesting thing we could look to pull off is what if we play Garen and tumble Garen, then single combat Garen, have him flipped, and then get the attack token on the following turn. Another interesting nugget that we could potentially do. Let's have to see how it goes. Seems like he's going to be trying to stun Aatrox, so we just get the kill anyways. All right, GG. Sorry you didn't get sorry you didn't get both Seraphine and Karma on the board at the same time. I'm deck. Okay. Next battle. These queues have been going quick today. Over the past couple days I've been getting a lot of 2-minute queues. It makes me worry about these a little bit. Gotta have that big enough player base to keep these things going. I get that Singleton's not gonna be the most popular one, but some of these queues were a little questionable. As you're playing Expedition and you hit that 1.5 mark, you started to just play against the Porobot. They were going over 1.5 minutes, and so I'm curious what the ultimate solution is out there. But nonetheless, up against Freylord Shurima, I'd assume this is gonna have that thing that puts your champions into play, whatever the bugged guy, but. We'll see how this turns out. So do we want to lead with the tracker? We can still... we just don't have the time otherwise. I say I don't want to get it on board and have to trade. Right? It's kind of... Excuse me, kind of nice if you can play the Bakai and get the 3-2, but we want our mana to work out. Have to just drop it now. Not like our equipment are that exciting anyways. We're not going to be hitting it with the quick attack.
Gently, gently.
All right, we'll wait on that one. We can get a better unit than Treasure Seeker. Maybe he'll... So I was going to say, maybe he'll just drop action onto the board, but can't drop action if you don't have him in your deck. But you can just play 1,000,000 units, right? That's another way to play the game. Get the Lucian and friends on board. Get the quick attack challenge next turn with Lucian. It's not that bad. Let's go ahead and pick up our 3rd equipment. Go into Aatrox mode after this. All right. So if we're going to go for the equipment, do we even want to bother with dropping the Merciless Hunter? I don't think so. All right, so we can look to say put the Darkened Lodestone onto the Bakai, and we could put the Darkened Staff onto Lucian, and just go from there. Don't have to attack with the Fleet Feather Tracker if he's not going to have a good attack this round. Oh, shit. It's a little less than ideal. I forgot that the stance was going into hand. That's not ideal. Let's switch these around real quick. if we're gonna be lacking, let's at least get this strike in and get the mana back. I assume that he's just gonna come in and block every time. But that's our 2nd. And then next turn we can drop the Merciless Hunter and the Darkened Fan. Go ahead and pick up Aatrox. Okay. A little sloppy, but I still just feel pretty good about this matchup in general, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Hunting Boar. Oh. That's definitely not who we want to be targeting.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton.
Alright. Well, the can't block unit is now vulnerable. And I'm planning on just leaving it. Yeah, things get at least a little bit better with the grappling hook coming in. So we can try and shoot down whatever he plays without just missing out on a ton of mana. So he's getting all the ramps now. Those units just aren't good enough. I guess we'll just have to take the bank. Get our boy Aatrox going.
You own what you take.
Sure. Is our Aatrox ever in danger here? I mean, that wouldn't be ideal. Like, why does he pick Aatrox if he's not able to kill him, though? It's doing. So it's like if he's gonna have a way to deal a point of damage, is that how he's gonna try and kill him? This is rough. We can still just replay the Darkened Blade, though, now that he's up to 2 health. Like, I don't think there's a 1 damage AoE coming in. I don't know what it would be if he was going to have it, but losing Aatrox here would be a bit of a disaster. Okay. I don't know what else to say about that one. Now we do have a potential target with the Elkin. We're going to want a grappling hook down the Sejuani this turn.
That's right. Run!
How bad could this go, though? Famous last words, right? Famous last words. Harsh Winds. Harsh Winds isn't that terrible. If he's just going to Harsh Winds and then get the block in on Aatrox. And we're just going to start playing Darken next turn. I don't see any other way about it. So what do we want to play the least? Probably this Darken Staff. Give us a little bit of chance to get it back on the cheap. Get some of that mana back.
The trolls are going to war!
Okay. We keep the Huntress around, though. We do have the potential to drop Harazi next turn. But I think this is fine. The place where this is scary is if he has Buried in the Ice, right? So maybe we just look to drop Harazi now. So if he plays Buried in Ice, we have a we have an out. He does have a good hook into Aatrox now with the Trundle, but I think this is fine. Just getting the big 7/7 on board shuts down most of what he's doing.
I'll knock 'em dead.
See ya, Aatrox. It's okay. You'll come back soon enough.
Stand and fight.
No, he's bringing it, huh?
Born for conquest.
He's bringing everything. He's gonna hook Harazi with the Ice Pillar and let the Huntress in front of the Mystic. Only hits for 7. Okay. All right, I guess. Uh-oh. Oh, is he just going for lethals? Might just be going for lethals. Don't have enough mana for the Elkin. Uh-oh. It's not lethal though, right? I mean, if it's only saying 13 on the board before we put forth a blocker, it's not going to be enough. Oops. Should have used that Ice Pillar, my friend.
Dying here.
So we're taking 6 as it stands. We should be safe. Feels like we're probably going to get hit with like a 3 Sisters or something, but I think that we're not going to die this round. It's always a perk. Oh, Sejuani's gonna flip though. She's not strong enough to take down Harazi.
Fight for your lives.
Ooh, this is scary. This is not going anywhere near as planned. Alright, well, let's restore the Harazi back to full health. I'm curious with this next turn if we're going to have a chance to attack. Like, it's impossible, I think, for him to have a fast speed way. It's not impossible. He could have a Ice Pillar, the Lysandra card. But I don't think we have to worry about him. Like, that's the one card. We just lose this game, though, if this Sejuani is able to activate. So let's just go ahead and take her down. Not ideal. Then maybe we can grappling hook down Trundle in the next turn or something. We just got to get dudes on board. Deal with his overwhelms. Ew, that's a scary thing as well. All this overwhelm damage that he has.
Not even I know what I'm cooking up.
Dragons, such fascinating creatures.
Cadrigan, searching up the big boys.
This would be a
There was that point of damage. That would have been devastating if we didn't take down the Sejuani right at the start. Alright, so good stuff there. We're still lined up to send a grappling hook at Trundle. I'd like to, maybe get him to spend a little bit more mana before we go for that, but that's what we're lining up for here. Wonder... It's like if we just cast the Darkened Fan and pick up the Lifesteal, I think that could be a pretty big deal. We did just eat up a lot of that board space to let us do that, though. Maybe that's something we'll have to look forward towards on the next turn. Alright, so the grappling hook into Trundle. See where our mana stands after this.
an auspicious season.
Okay. We'll probably need the Protege then.
Break their spirits and their swords.
He's going to the Feral Mystic is going to go up next turn and be big. So we can't play the World Ender this way, but I think we have enough stats on board to stop his aggression. Yeah, this sweet 10 health Widowed Huntress ready to do the blocking. Oh, Jesus. Is he going to scout attack with this? If he scout attacks, I think that's okay, right? We can put the Widowed Huntress in front of it and then follow up with Cadrigan.
Do your best.
Well, we take 0 off of that one. That's that's a start at least. Now we can just World Ender, right? It's going to give us the Aatrox out of the Larent Protege up at a 10-10. If we got a 10-10 and a 10-6 on board with this. Aatrox is a part of that as well, so he's back to having the life gain strikes, right? Yeah. When I strike, heal 2. Hopefully it's enough. Hopefully it's enough. I'm really wishing we didn't have these dum-dums on board right now. I just assumed that he was going to be open attacking on us, and so I was a little bit more worried in not having enough blockers for his width, but seems okay here. +1 health at the end of the day. He's got a... Oh, there's just no combat tricks left, really. Okay. I think we're good. So if he kills off one of our units, it's not that big of a deal.
Good winter.
He's going after Striatu. I don't think he mathed that one right. Trundle still dies here. Alright, apparently was enough. GG, my dude. Oof. That's close. A lot of damage out of nowhere in that one. We were a little sloppy with that as well, but got through it at the end of the day. Marked it a W. On to the next one. So much power in these. Oof, I love it. I miss playing with all these equipment, man. That was the good part of the days. All right, this dumb deck again. You're required to say it every time it turns up, so don't be surprised as we say, this dumb deck again. Karma Seraphine. Nice curve with the friends.
Go get this tiny tofu.
I was stopping to think if we say want to bank the mana so that we could look to just drop the researcher next turn and give it the equipment, or play it a little slower, try and pick up a unit off of the treasure seeker if we get a chance, but didn't quite pan out that way. I do want to go ahead and drop a bloodletters now. No, there's no real reason to do that. I want to start getting the value off of these little equipments. Let's drop it. We can play the researcher 2 turns from now, but this way at least if he has a removal onto the treasure seeker, we get a little bit of value out of it. Nice quicksand. Not worrying about Zoe anymore. The Badger Bear. This is what everybody's here for, right? I gotta get away from constructed. There's too many Badger Bears and elites running around. I wanna play my dumb cards like Seraphines. They're just no good right now. Let's go to Singleton. Maybe it'll be okay there. Badger Bear. Feels good. Feels good. Curious what he's digging for here. Like, you're never playing a Crescent Strike. Like, if you have Crescent Strike, it's off the table. And so picking up Aphelios makes sense though. Alright, combat time. Wonder if you ever block with Zoe. Like, I used to assume at this point Zoe's not doing anything this game. With the Badger Bear on board. I mean, I guess if you're really wanting to try and get a takedown, you can pick up like double stun and then try and attack, but that strikes me as being kind of meh. I guess you can just be like a landmark at this point, and you're just kind of hoping that she gets up to 10. Silence onto Badger Bear. Okay. So how much do we even care about this Zoe, right? We have the quicksand in hand if we want to try and take her down that way. I'm just not really excited about it. I'd rather be taking down this Aphelios at the moment. It's like I think we want to be cataclysming this turn. Just gives us so much opportunity to crash in next turn. And it doesn't feel great. Well, I guess we can say cataclysm the Egghead into Zoe. They've only got one health at this point. That's where it is, right? That's where it is. So now his removal spells aren't good enough to take down the Badger Bear. Shouldn't be any 1-mana combat tricks out of this. Like, there's no way it plays the Ionia 1-mana trick. Doesn't have the mana for Pale Cascade at this point. Acorn. Oh, man, how sick would that quicksand have been? I wasn't anticipating Acorn. But, man, if we got to quicksand both the Zoe and the Acorn there, oh, that would have been monstrous. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Alright, well, we got some stuff going. We can still take 3 mana into the next turn and then get an Aatrox on board. Probably want to go ahead and drop this Lodestone. Maybe silence and suppress the Acorn. I don't think we're going to get a very good silence and suppress this game. Let's switch up these equipments. He's going to be putting damage onto the Badger Bear. Let's load it up with the darkened bloodletters, and we can put the darkened staff back over on our can't block dude. Now take 3 bank. I don't think the silence and suppress is worthwhile onto Acorn, but when are we going to use it otherwise? It's like if we keep this mana banked up, we can save the quicksand for Aatrox and try to get a good combat with him. But maybe this is the place where it happens. The double the double quicksand onto the acorns. Okay. Not an angle I was expecting to take today, but we'll do what we can with it. Get a couple more of those Darken Strikes in the mix as well. Get this Worldbender up and activated. Sure. Too bad we don't get the mana back. I was hoping we'd have a extra mana here for this Dark Enthrall, but it's going okay. So close to lethal. I mean, I guess we could push for it. We have the Absolver in hand. I was just kind of envisioning, well, this Absolver is not going to come online until we flip the Aatrox, but I've been getting in this bad space here these days as to where I forget that our units, that I forget that our opponent's health, like, doesn't just get blown out all the time, and we are really close to just killing him here between the Bloodletters and the Walking Sands and all this. Let's give it a shot and see where we stand. Let's get him to have to devote into taking down these units that suck, right? If he's spending removal spells on Dark Enthralls, then we're feeling pretty good about it. So we'll add Lucian, we'll add a Waking Sands. Hopefully those combos will be enough to seal the deal.
Push back the darkness.
But at the end of the day, this is kind of one of these spots we'll talk about occasionally as to where you don't really expect to win the game this turn, but you're making them spend a ton of mana on shit that they don't really want to do, while we're still doing shit that we want to do, right? The actions that we're taking are directly leading towards what our deck wants to do. We're getting some of these equipments on board. We're getting the Darkened Strikes in. We're building up to the World Ender. If we get to pop off the World Ender with these Dark Enthralls, upgrading into the dudes, like, all of that is quite strong in what our deck is trying to pull off, to where he doesn't want to be blocking with Vasti and Disciple, right? That's not something that's really on his game plan, or losing a Felios to a Dark Enthrall or something. So let's see. So he has enough blockers for everything at this point. I don't suspect we'll be getting too many KOs here, but could potentially. And then I don't remember if this is a thing, if you can silence off a stun. We'll find out. How's that sound? We'll find out if you can silence off a stun. That's right. He's essentially tapped out at this point. He has 3 blockers. Let's protect our Lucian, I guess. So we're not going to get the lethal this turn, but we'll get to kill his whole team. Oh, we destroy the equipment if you try and silence and suppress, though. That's a bit of a bummer. A bit of a bummer.
Burn away the shadows.
You are no Kinku.
I had higher expectations for you, turn, but I think it still turned out okay. Maybe we should have silenced and suppressed this Vestayan Disciple. It's a pretty decent target for it. Alright, double stun coming in for sure. Oh, single stun onto Aatrox. Why? Why would you do that? Alright, well, let's start here. I'm a little suspicious of whatever is happening with the... why would he stun Aatrox? I guess he's just trying to cycle away the equipment and then pick up a new moon weapon. That would make some sense. I think the space where we're gonna dazzle him is with the Infinite Mind Splitter. I don't think this is gonna be. I don't think that's gonna be an expectation from the opponent. But I would prefer to wait until they're a little bit lower on mana, right? I don't want to be dropping the Infinite Mind Splitter when they have 4 mana up and it just gets hit with a recall. So he's casually left enough mana behind to be able to play a recall, but he recalls it on his turn. That's a little bit better for us. Now he's down to 3. Alright, let's see what you can do, Mind Splitter. You can't even tell anymore. I guess he could have like the 3 mana for the recall that destroys equipment, but between things like drum solo and bullshit like that, it's really tough to tell what kind of space they would ever be in. Alright, here comes the squad. Some kind of Zoe spell for sure. I don't think we've played any relevant. I guess you get a Quicksand. Quicksand could prevent some damages here. So many possibilities with these. Alright, what does the Song Spinner bring? Does not bring victory. GG. On to the next one.
Finally, I am freed of this madness.
Freed of the madness. Alright, queue up again. See if we get to play against, see if we get to queue right back into Karma. See what happens. Well, it's Karma again, that's for certain. Different version though. Seraphine Karma coming back. So let's see. Let's hang on to the Elkin, hang on to the equipment. Dark and Aegis, not bad in these spots. Helps us get a little protection from pokey sticks and the like. A bit of tough sequencing here though, with the equipments being a little too expensive. I think it's still fine to just 2-bank and then play a Merciless Hunter on turn 3. Everything we have at the moment at least survives this stuff.
Deep breath now.
The action. Alright. Well, action's enough to make me reconsider what we're doing with this board. So we'll drop the bird, we'll drop the action, try and play the AGS afterwards. See if he's got a removal spell directly onto our old boy here, our old classic value generator in Lord Action. There comes a burn spell, no surprise. That'll let us put the darkened thing onto our bird. Take down the Conchologist without dying. I wonder if we ever want a Heedless Resurrection back action. Like, I think it's probably way too early right now. But if it was threatening to flip or whatever, it would be not bad. Darkened Ballista is kind of an interesting draw in the sense that if we want to just chain off a bunch of targets, then we have the opportunity there. All the acorns coming in. We gotta deal with that guy again. Alright, let's wait on the combat to finish. Ideally, what's gonna happen is we're gonna be able to put the Ballista onto the Tracker. We don't have the mana to replay the Aegis, but I'm looking to get the Aegis onto Valor, and then use Valor to take down these Acorns. It's not the safest angle that you could potentially have, but he doesn't have a big burn spell or anything. It's pretty good for us, and I'm fine to see recalls come in. That's not a big deal.
We love it when they run. That's right. Run.
And then we'll hook the Acorn with our Steadfast Elkin. It's just a reasonable way to protect our birds, right? If he has a rando combat trick, if the Conchologist generated a Purple Berry Shake or something, then we'd rather be losing the Elkin instead of losing our... there's the Glorious Evolution. We just kill through this? He's going to drop Acorn onto the board, right? But I think we want to bring back action now. We got to play this thing at some point, right? And then we can look to just get kills next turn. So we want to stop right here with the targets. I want to be able to get the action 5 mana attacker thing next turn, so that we can just outright attack with it. I think that's the way we want to go, right? Do we actually want to come out here and draw a card? Like, what if we open attack? We can pull the Eye of the Dragon. Oh shit, we just hit the Absolver. that changes everything. It changes everything.
Yoink.
Yoink.
In and out.
Wrap 'em up tight.
Alright. Drop a little Laser Kitty in there. That's how you do it. GG. What a dumb deck. I hope people don't really get excited about playing that. Somebody must have posted an article about this deck or something for it to turn up in such a high degree. But we were able to take down the 6 victories. I think that also gets us to this the season badge. I think I needed one more badge or one more trophy to unlock this the whole way. And again, I talked about the pathing in the previous video. It feels like I was a little underwhelmed with this. I feel like I'm curious at kind of the FOMO factor, right? At least when these daily events were first released, people were really complaining about best of 3 and saying that, it takes all day to do, and not really taking in that consideration that you can just continue the trial onto the next day. Feels like you're missing out on something if you don't get to play in the fresh event every day. And I feel like this path, there's 15 days left in it and another open tournament, and we're already done with it. Like, I get that we did 8 win the first open, and we play more than your average person, but I feel like it's just kind of underwhelming being at the end of the path at this point. And so I wouldn't be upset to see the path be like a little bit longer. The thing I was kind of trying to describe it as was using the World of Warcraft and the usage of like the Gladiator titles and the Grand Marshal titles that were really kind of spectacularly challenging to hit. It feels like there's like I really like the titles in the sense of where they're going, but there's kind of the 2 problems with the titles. And the number one, the title is only as effective as people knowing how good it is, right? You run into this with Magic as to where now that there's like 1,000 printings of all these different cards, there's no way to really say, oh, this is the rarest version of the card. And so you can't really pick and choose which one's supposed to have like the highest level of clout when you're trying to show off your commander deck or whatever. And I think that with this setup, you're going to kind of run into the same space as to where with, say, like World of Warcraft and hitting Grand Marshal, everyone knew what Grand Marshal was. They knew that you were spending 16 hours a day inside of Warsong Gulch or whatever to get that kind of title. And I feel like being the World Ender Gladiator or something, or whatever these World Ender titles are. I feel like there should just be something with a little bit tougher to unlock. Because again, like I feel like the people that are going to be upset with this kind of thing are there's the kind of like ultra competitive people that shouldn't care about this, and then there's the more kind of casual competitive people that should. I like to lump ourselves into that group, but it feels like it has been kind of underwhelming for that group as well, and so it feels like this is ultimately the like Friday night kind of casual space, Friday Night Magic kind of casual space of Runeterra, and then there's not that next step. There's not that next pillar that currently exists. And so no complaints. I know they're still doing a lot of work on it, but that's just the way I kind of feel at the moment about these. But in terms of the deck, it's still getting pretty happy with it. The Silence and Suppress turned out to be okay. I'm not certain if we should be in the camp of expect more Aatrox or be in the camp of expect more Seraphine. It seems to really be kind of like day to day in terms of what's turning up. But with this deck, I've been pretty happy with it. The only place I've felt a little unhappy with this are I feel like we need to get in like 1 or 2 more units, and so I think the Widowed Huntress is going to go. I'm fine with just putting in some other kind of cheap play, and then I feel like we'll be in a pretty good space with our numbers and how everything is playing out. And, I've been pretty happy with it, and so again, I'm not certain on the best way to go about these decks, but I feel like the way to go with this format is to play Aatrox and play Demacia, and then figure out something for your third faction. And so we did the third faction as Shurima today, mainly for the likes of Action and Sivir, combat tricks like the Absolver that lets you play things like the what's your name? Forsaken Bakai and the Aspiring Chronomancer for the predicts out of the cheap units. Like I really like all of that kind of stuff. I mentioned playing with Targon. That gets you a bit of the Dragon package and Aurelian Soul. I've considered looking at Ionia just for Deny. You know, if we get to play 1 copy of Deny and then some other good stuff, that could be useful. Same thing could kind of probably be said for like Bandle City. And so I'm just wanting the way that I look to construct this deck is we're going to play 9 equipment. We're not going to play the Shadow Isles equipment, but we're going to play the remaining 9. We're going to play Demacia. There's just too many cards out of Demacia that are just too good into what this strategy is trying to do. And then we're just looking for the cheap plays, right? We need the cheap value units that we can load these equipment onto. We can't look to be playing like 4 and 5 and 6 cost units because you never get the time to put the equipment onto them. But the cheaper end of the spectrum is where we're looking to pick up these units, and that's what I've liked out of Shurima up to this space is the Treasure Seeker generates a card. The Bakai has the predict attached to it. The Chronomancer has the predict attached to it. The Merciless Hunter has our third favorite thing in the Challenger aspects. And we're also playing the Ancient Preparations for another unit that predicts. And so I kind of like the consistency that comes out of this, but this is stuff to where we could look to kind of fill in with the other factions as well. So, good stuff. Not a bad set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that's going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.